A mystery.
Excuse me. But they used to do this all the time where you Witch Doctor Spirit Breaker, it's just a really good dual roam, and you connect middle, and you get this Death Prophet ahead, and then you can start making plays. But if you think about it, to kill DP, you've got to get on top of her. Witch Doctor also strong against Tidehunter in lane with the Maledict spam, so it makes sense.
Yeah. I like having two supports that can kill cores. I think if your two supports can connect together and they can go and kill like a split pushing core, that is so valuable to have in your game if you don't have to connect with your cores to get kills.
I will say, though, I really like RNG's lineup here.
CKAA is a terrifying
It really is.
combo.
And you have such great team fight. The AA denies what Death Prophet likes to do. You remove drains as the legitimate method of sustain.
Yeah.
This is a solid combo. One of my favorite counters to AA is actually the Brewmaster, because you can effectively ignore the Cold Feet and the Ice Blast. Like, you have to 100 to 0 this Brew, or he's going to pop his split, immediately run at the AA, throw the Tide up into the air. It's a really nice combo to counteract the RNG team fight. But they're going to need a carry, and also, of course, the Dispel on the CK illusions.
It's still
unbelievably
good at
broken.
first, until the CK illusions get mega tanky, right? Then they stop getting.
They need, I believe, active Armlet plus like
a heart,
Reaver.
or Reaver.
You need a ton of base HP.
I think it depends on the panda's level as well.
Correct.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, because it scales a little bit.
Slightly. I don't think
the
it's by
Brewmaster
much.
against the Warlock as well. They can dispel bonds.
Yep.
Or even just being able to cyclone the golem as well, like up until you get to the point where there's like two of them running around or anything. Just take it out of the fight. That can also be pretty nice. So I do like the Brewmaster pick a lot here. So at RNG looking for their mid, and EHOME looking for their position 1. I imagine it's AA laning with CK, and then maybe the Warlock with the Tide. I kind of like the idea of the Warlock in lane against the Witch Doctor. If somebody gets Maledict, you just put the heal on them, and then, then what?
I think that's a little too galaxy brain there,
yeah,
my friend.
A little bit.
I mean, sure. But
like here's the thing: are they going to defend? Are they going to defensive tri lane and just leave Tide on his own?
They could do anything they want.
I guess they can. What do you think they're going to do, Kyle? You're
no
the analyst
idea.
here.
I just got here,
Make
man.
a prediction.
I don't know. I like to make
How are they going to set their lanes?
Closer to when the actual action happens. It's
Okay.
sort of like, you ever heard the phrase like?
Well, you want to see starting items?
No, you just want to see what lanes they start running to.
Okay.
And then you
All
make
right.
a prediction.
All right.
But
What? Then it's not a prediction.
Okay, it's like my mantra, right, for talking shit, and I've broken this a couple times. A couple times I live to regret it. But you always want to talk shit after you've already won. Okay, you don't want to do it before, because then you could get burned. There's the same satisfaction from talking some smack, right? But if you win first, it can't come back to bite you until the next tournament.
Yeah. So there's always a future scenario where.
Yeah.
But yeah. Unless you retire and just start casting.
Yeah.
Then it can't ever come back to bite you.
Exactly.
That's the real galaxy brain here.
It's true.
Yeah. Now you can flame as much as you want.
Yeah, like Twitch chat's dumb. Ha!
Got him.
What are they going to do to me?
All right.
Probably actually talk. I'm not, I was trying to learn from Rich, and communicating, really getting to know Twitch chat, making them my friends, but I don't really think it works the same way.
No, you don't think you had that same rapport?
Yeah. Maybe it's because I'm not likable.
Yeah, I think you're likable, Kyle. Come on, I like you.
You don't have to say that just because we're working together. I appreciate it, though.
All right. You got any thoughts for these last couple of picks? What's EHOME's carry hero here?
Man,
Clinks.
Probably an agility hero.
They've only got a few seconds left.
There
Gyrocopter.
Agility hero.
Gyro no wisp.
That's a really poor pick, in my opinion, solely because AA is excellent against both you and the Death Prophet.
Oh my God, RNG just with the last pick.
Call the G. In fact, can we? I'm just gonna. Oh, I thought that would just end the game. Because this one's in the books, folks. I wouldn't say I'd put my house on RNG to win this game, but I'd put someone else's house for sure.
Okay. We'll get to see what the odds are, I'm sure, in a second.
We'll find out.
Yeah, this is looking like a pretty good. I mean, they don't have enough lockdown for the Brood. It feels like the Gyrocopter, I think, is an extremely. I can see the idea. They're like, okay, we need to kill this Tidehunter in lane, and we've got magical damage to kill him.
Traditionally, the counter to DP has been illusion/minion heroes. So typically PL, old school, before that hero was nerfed
soaks
into the
the
ground.
ult, right?
Yeah, and Brood, you actually just can't play against Brood. Like, you can't kill the spiders reliably. However,
they have a ton of magic resist now, right?
And the benefit, though, of the EHOME lineup is that they can at least hunt the Brood. But the RNG lineup is just so powerful in the sense that you've got this really strong CKAA lane.
Yep.
You've got a Tide that, if you look at these heroes, right, they're not really going to be able to just crush this Tide unless they tri-lane him. And Brood eventually takes over your jungle. If mid tower dies early, Brood starts playing Radiant Ancient Camp, and you just sit there and just play you play the top shrine area.
They just steal the tri-camp.
You just cut 2 waves and farm. The way RNG lose this is if the Brood plays too passively. I've seen this in a couple of games where he ends up on his own Ancient Camp. You have to play aggro Ancients. Okay. And if you can do that, I think it's done for. What did prediction say?
We got our odds.
Oh.
Yep. So we got
EHOME. I can't read that.
EHOME 2.3, RNG 1.5.
That is.
Who you got this game? You have the Brood Mother, right? That's.
I would. Man, I would. If I were a gambling man, I know what I would do.
All right. So here we go. Good luck. Have fun. Coming out. Now we get to see the lanes. Let's see where everybody's headed. Landham starting with a lot of stats here on his Warlock. We got, and it does look like Afu's heading down to the safe lane, but we do have the CK rotating top for now. So maybe they're trying to scout any lane swaps or anything like that. We'll have to see what happens. Setsu coming down, putting out the webs already. Starting with 4 mangoes.
Wait, wasn't RNG on like the dire side of the they were on the top. Am I dumb? I thought for sure they were on whatever. Point still stands where if you look, are you obsing by the way?
I am obsing.
Oh, you're obs. Thank God. So if you want to check out here, like if you're
So you're playing, you mean you wanted him when you're playing
drawing
dire
the map show on your screen? Okay, cool.
Yes.
So if you're Brood here, I'm gonna wait for that to dissipate.
You can draw on the ground as well.
Yeah. So if you look here, Brood's goal is to kill this tower, right?
Yeah.
And then you want to just play in this area of the map, and you can actually cut the wave bottom like back here, all the way in between the tier 2, tier 3.
Drag it up.
Yeah, and then
the
no, you don't even need to drag it up. You just farm
right
with
there?
spiders.
Okay.
Because the thing is, when you sit on this high ground all the way by the tier 2, you get like the vision of a ward placed there, and it's pretty difficult to die because it's 10 minutes into the game, and it would require 3 or 4 heroes from EHOME to take you down. And the problem is that only Spirit Breaker has the ability to traverse terrain, so you really need ultimate on the Breaker to be able to reliably kill the Brood, unless he makes a mistake. But
all right, talk to me about these change-ups. They don't want the Death Prophet against the Brood Mother, so they've sent Brewmaster there. They've now got a Spirit Breaker Death Prophet lane in the off lane, and they are running the Witch Doctor Gyro against that Warlock Tidehunter.
This is definitely the right move. You
EHOME.
need a melee hero that can go double shield mid, and that's the Brew here. You can see Faith Beyond already with another shield queued up.
Yep.
Because it's effectively then a 75% chance that Spider attacks do 0 damage. And while you won't be able to like beat the Brood in the long term, if you look at the base damage, it's 14 DPS advantage for the Brew. So you can win these first couple waves, as you can already see Faith Beyond out to a great start.
Yeah, he's
7-1 to 1-1.
He's CSing fantastically. And actually going for an early point in the Cinder Brew here. So not opting for the Drunken Crawler just yet. A little charge on Monet, but they're just throwing out some damage in Q. Just getting some value out of his base regen. So, yeah, so far, I like the adjustment from EHOME. I do think, though, Setsu can probably still take this tower relatively early, but at least the Brewmaster can hold on way longer than the Death Prophet would be able to.
Yeah, it's definitely a fine position to be in.
Yeah. This Death Prophet's got to be a little bit afraid of this bottom lane, though, right? The CKAA is just such a potent dual lane.
Yeah. Luckily, you got a Spirit Breaker, 68 base damage, level 2 with that Oov. You're such a tanky cow, like nearly 850 HP. You can grab a DD bottom. They will see it on RNG, so shouldn't be able to make too much happen in that mid lane. Top is going to be concerning for me. I feel like you can probably out-sustain here as this top side of Witch Doctor Gyro, but it's, again, like just the low base damage.
But this wasn't the plan, right? The plan was not to get Voodoo Restoration level 1
and
just let the Tide kind of farm and just trade. The plan was definitely to kill him. Oh, Jinkyu in some trouble at bottom. Cold Feet is going to coalesce, but alright, they don't have quite the follow-up to finish him off.
I'm surprised they didn't go for that. I thought that was a kill for sure. They will get the salve, though. You could argue that's even better.
Yeah, and that was 430's salve, so he's actually very low on regen now. They've got a total of 1 tango in this whole lane. Spirit Breaker might go deny to the tower a little bit later on. Gets a bash onto Afu, okay, but they are coming in here for the turnaround. Jinkyu laning with the auto attacks to Monet, but looks like he should be going down here. First blood for Afu.
And I was going to bring this up, Afu, Monet, they've been quiet this year. Haven't really seen too much success. But these guys finished third.
Good.
They were third at TI9. And Afu, I think, is still one of the more underrated players in the region. Monet was, he was hot shit for a while. He was the superstar carry of LFY.
Yeah, the hot young carry.
And then just kind of fell off the map for a bit in terms of, didn't fall off the map, but you expect players that finish their TI to be top 8 at majors.
He's kind of tanky, but is taking a lot of damage here. Y actually needs to be careful. Getting turned around on Flyby, just going to donk him, and Landham turning around these 4 Iron Branches. He's got so much HP. He will end up going down. A little trip to the fountain for him, so it ends up being a 1-for-1 trade. But RNG still doing really well in this early game.
Yeah, and it's not bad because the Gyro, he gets an extra Wraith Band now, thanks to the kill. And, of course, Y will TP in. 2 TI winners on EHOME, of course, Faith, Beyond, and Y, who used to play under Innocence. Back on that fabled Wings squad at TI6.
What a run. What a team. That was Setsu, alright, taking some damage here at mid, needing to be a little bit careful. Does have a salve getting delivered. But Brewmaster actually dealing with the Spiderlings surprisingly well. A lot of his CS, of course, is just going to be those spiders, but
hey, he's on his way to some records if he keeps this up.
Yeah,
though.
Faith Beyond is he's going to be pretty darn farmed. Actually, what's his net worth looking like? He's still up quite a bit on the net worth. They are heading toward Afu once again, but troubles for the Spirit Breaker. Looks like he's just going to be brought down. Monet picking up that kill, and not a whole lot that 430 can really do. Afu even just stands his ground and keeps giving him the clicks.
Yep. I'm a bit concerned for this EHOME lineup just because, as you said, this isn't really what they wanted to do. When you're playing against a Brood with no counter pick, you're forced to respond with something unconventional, and the problem is that their Death Prophet is going to be the sacrificial lamb here, who's the true tempo controller, right? The Gyro, of course, and the Brew, you're very strong mid-game on EHOME, but Death Prophet has no legitimate ways to come back.
Oh, going on Monet, not looking very healthy. They do get the stun turnaround. 430 still chasing. Looks like they are not going to get this kill. The Shrine is ready to go as well, so RNG probably just going to head over there. And it was just a 2-2 split on the bounties, so no big advantage being gained one way or the other. Do you like the Midas on the CK as the selection for Monet here?
I think it's necessary to buy Midas on CK if you aren't just having a terrible game, because it's the same deal, right? You only farm last hitting.
A little bit of action up top. Trouble for the Tidehunter, actually. Flyby, can he stay alive? He gets the stick charges off, but this Rocket Barrage is now level 3, and Neverend is just going to run him down. Not a whole lot that Landham could do there. Only 1 point in the Shadow Word. And EHOME do seem to be taking control of this top lane a little bit more. Lots of items on the Gyrocopter, actually. He's got all the little double Wraith Band, boots. Pretty happy with his lot in life so far. And Faith Beyond's actually looking.
It's not he can't find a kill though on a.
And if he leaves the lane to try and use the split somewhere, he just loses the tower, right?
Mm-hmm.
So he's kind of stuck here, unfortunately.
Yeah, that's the downside. And now finally, Brood, being level 7 has Medallion, and you'll watch him just start farming the Ancients up. No problem. That doesn't kill the spiders, does it?
It might kill the Ites, not the Lings.
Yeah.
Gotta remember that there are 2 different kinds. He's still, Broodmaster's 500 gold ahead. Nothing crazy, but yeah, Broodmother with the very standard Broodmother farming items. This hero's all about.
He's being ran at now. The charge is up.
Yeah, they're looking
thanks
for
to the illusion.
Alright, Setsu just gonna try and play the cliff line. Jinkyu does knock him a little bit forward. Death Prophet dies at bottom without the help from the Spirit Breaker. Charges away, and 430, nothing that he can do. Setsu just going to walk this one off.
You can see the problem with killing Brood, right? There's no terrain walking. So Brood, as long as he plays on cliffs.
Innocence. All right, they got the call down coming in. Nice split, but Flyby still just taking so much damage. They're also charging onto Lanham. So looking for him. He's hanging out inside of the creep wave, actually trying to turn around and get this Innocence kill. It's not going to happen. Neverend still applying the pressure. Has the Spirit Breaker coming in. Lanham was not expecting that, perhaps. All right, he got him. with
He
the
hit,
Fatal Bonds.
He hit Gyro
Yeah.
and killed off Y.
Okay. That's an all right trade for him.
You take those.
But they lost the tide, so.
The concern is that the safe lane is effectively abandoned, and that this is the one downside of the core trio of EHOME. The mid-game synergy is great, but if it's not Faith Beyond on the Brew, no one can be left bottom on an island. You need equal numbers down here, and even then, CK and hey, they're just such a strong kill lane, especially with the 3-point Gold Feet. They're both level 5 already. This is very scary for RNG.
Actually, yeah, this Ancient Apparition
for
is
EHOME.
getting
Wow.
a ton of farm. Or at least a ton of levels. And Faith Beyond does find himself an Arcane. They do rotate the Witch Doctor down here to bottom. He knows that he hasn't been scouted. Pops down the Sentry Ward. They're looking for something. You said that you liked this support duo. We'll see if they can do something down here. They really want Monet. They're going aggressively onto 430. He's a little bit tankier with the Belt of Strength. Charge forward. Innocence comes around the corner, still holding onto the Paralyzing Cast. And Afu realizing that Monet is just dead. He does have a 17 wand. Not going to swap the treads for it. Just going to keep on running. The nuke does connect from 430, and one more charge from Jinkyu. They do get it.
Yep. The Setsu, though, you know, he gets a little moment of space, and he's forcing the Glyph middle. Brew's rotated bottom as well. Has the Arcane and wanted to pop the ult, and it looks like they're going to charge mid and try and make a play here. Gyro in the trees.
I don't think he hasn't shown yet. All right, Calldown's going to end up missing. Setsu once again just trying to play the cliff, but he doesn't have webs in that direction. Split gets popped, and looks like
the
Setsu's
flat kills
down.
the spiders.
And they can deny the tower now if they want to. Okay, EHOME. That's really, really nice. That's so much farm for the Gyrocopter.
And it's funny how, like, that one little too aggressive play by Monet, right? He sees nothing. There's like 4 heroes off map, but he gets aggressive on the Death Prophet, ends up dying. That allows then for this move to be made middle. Yeah. And sure, you kill the tower, but it's Brood, right? It's always going to go down, and now you don't get the gold from it. That's big death, because Setsu now, his Midas is going to be set back 2 or 3 minutes. Yeah. Probably going to go for the Midas Diffusal build. Is that what Brood's been doing? Because that was the builds in the games I've witnessed.
Yeah, I think so. I don't know if I saw too much Brood outside of opens. Oh, all right. CK with the Phantasm pop does manage to deal with the homing missile, but can they actually catch anything? A little bit interesting from Jinkyu, going for a more, I would say, old school build with the 3 points greater bash this game. I feel like most people I've seen have been maxing the bulldoze. Oh, Ice Blast coming in. That is just going to be a dead Innocence, but they will immediately lose all of these CK illusions and probably Monet to follow it up. They do have the stun on the Gyrocopter. Neverend is going to keep on chasing, and Monet looking like he might just be dead to that Maledict tick, and he is.
Afu's dead too, looks like. Charge coming.
Another charge. I love the way that the Gyrocopter is playing.
Yep. Getting
up in their face. He went mid. Now he rotates bottom. Dominating streak. #1 on the net worth.
Yeah, I love the way EHOME's played this so far. They need to find kills. They need to be able to rotate around the map, utilize the Spirit Breaker and the vision advantage and reach to... You lose the farm battle. You need to kill the CK specifically. They've found 2 already. It's quite nice, and it's specifically on the back of Neverend. Of course, do you know Neverend was ZYF? He's changed his name like 11 times.
Okay,
but
all right.
Yeah, so
yeah. Sometimes you lose track of people. Like we had UU9 to Mugi, stuff like that. Oh, Flyby actually dead up top. I saw him with his hood. I thought he was fine. 430 pops the ult, runs him down. Okay, so he is dead. They also had the Death Ward. This ability has been buffed so much. 85 damage at level 1. It owns. And RNG, okay, Monet also wanting to get aggressive. He has been inspired a little bit perhaps by the Gyrocopter. They are coming in here. They look for 430, dropping 2 ults to bring him down. Land him pop in the rock.
I really like this Max Cinder Brew from the Brewmaster as well. It's actually a lot more damage than I realized at first.
Yeah, he's actually going to farm pretty quickly as well, right? He's got the Soul Ring, he's got Midas.
Yeah, exactly. It guarantees you kill the creep wave when you just Cinder Brew clap it, and as you said, the Midas. Because, you know, I loved the RNG draft, but double Midas on the CK and the Brood without really making too many aggressive maneuvers thus far could punish them, especially with the amount of rotations never end on the gyros.
They are TPing in. They've got a charge coming as well. Witch Doctor, a little bit low on mana, but Jinkyu does want to go for this. Pops the Bulldoze, Primal Split. Now also coming in. Tidehunter's going to be the first target. Does have the Ravage available, but I don't think Flyby wants to pop it. They're just in full-on retreat mode, and the Pandas are going to catch more. Warlock is going to be lifted up into the air. Lanham looking very dead as EHOME bring all 5 heroes top to hold on to their tier 1 tower, and now they're going to look for the swing back.
They're just outplaying right now, and part of that's because of the draft. They've got this super sick mid-game core trio and then the 2 active supports. In RNG, like their drafts and the way they want to win the game is sort of predicated on being ahead, farming better, pushing towers, and just sort of consuming the map. If EHOME can continue to find these fights, you know, it's the second time they're going to get a free tower deny top if they want it. And it feels like they're just following the script. Oh, RNG, you want to push? We'll respond as 5. And there's just no team fight yet for RNG unless they're able to play around the Ravage.
I think the biggest thing for me is I love how they're playing around the Brood, right?
Yeah.
There's never really anybody that's going mid that can die. No, the Brood's not going to get any free kills, and they know that the Brood is never going to come to these side lane fights.
Yep.
So anytime RNG are like, oh yeah, let's just go fight in the top lane. Let's take that tier 1 tower because we lost our tier 1 bottom. That's the natural trade. You just get 4v5.
Yeah, and it's funny because, you know, this is always, I always feel bad when I see Broods playing their side of that. We don't have heat maps access during this, do we?
No.
But he hasn't crossed the river yet.
I'll draw on the minimap for you if you want.
He's played in this box, okay?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's like kind of just being in here, yeah.
And part of that is because the Spirit Breaker charge threatens you, especially if you're going to try and play like in between Shrine and a tower in that aggro part of the map I wanted.
Once again, RNG making the same move, might get punished in the same way. Flyby does make it into the trees. Afu's got the ulti, Warlock no ult for 20 seconds, and they will drive them back.
But they've got 2 heroes in both other lanes. Now they just deny the tower and get out of dodge.
And Faith Beyond just going for a Radiance this game.
I like it.
God, it's going to be so good against the Brood, really nice against the CK. Tides don't really buy Blink very much these days, right? So there's not really a whole lot there, but still.
They got to make a play with this now. But the problem is the Brood isn't really in position to link, and you want to be playing around your Brood here. They're just going to walk up and pray.
Yeah. I think that's an arrow drawn by the Warlock. Is that Landom trying to, like, directing something over here? But I don't think.
But
how many charges does Brood have? He's got a few.
But
he doesn't want to ruin his whole web configuration just to get like 1 kill, right?
Yeah, he's got Diffusal now, but like, how do you start a fight here if you're RNG? And look at the levels; it's fallen off. The Tide only level 7.
Yeah, and he's only got the Broodmother only has 1400 HP, so 1 stun, and that might just be the end of him. They really want to use the Ravage, though, right? They got Ravage and they've got Chaotic Offering back up. They're telling themselves, we can win the fight. They're battling for the bounty runes. They drifted all the way across the map, hoping to get more. Charges coming in. They are going to look towards Flyby. Also getting the charge onto Monet. He's got this double damage. Can he actually get into the fight? They get the silence of the Flyby. Will the Ravage finally come at Setsu? Looking for the positioning. Never end. Staying on the back lines. They do get the rock on top of him. 4-second stun. Gyrocopter dropping quickly. They lose him. It's 1 dead so far. 430 gets caught by the Ice Blast on the back lines. Landom. The Golem's being brought down. The Death Ward channeling onto Afu. Now Ravage, Faith Beyond, locked in position. Can they actually focus him down? Setsu finds a double. Monet's low, so is Flyby, so is Afu. 430 wants to come in for the cleanup. It's a triple kill for the Broodmother. And Death Prophet cannot man up. They didn't back off to their shrine. And EHOME are going to end up losing 4-1.
So did you see what happened there right at the start, though? The Brewmaster Dispel killed every single spider. I forgot about that interaction.
Yeah, so it's summoned units, it's like all summoned units.
Yeah, they all die, and they're going to die all game. So the Setsu Spider Army is actually not a threat unless the split is either just waited out or you kill the Brew, but they don't have the lockdown to kill Brew 100-0.
All right.
Good fight, for sure, but it's all on the Brood now.
All right, Lanham gets run down by Neverend up top. Does kind of reveal the fact that there's a ward over here, so that's very quickly going to get dewarded. What went wrong for EHOME in that fight? Is it just because RNG they've got their 2 big ultis? Like, is that the... Or is it the Gyrocopter getting found in the back lines? A little bit of both?
The thing is, EHOME is going to hit this power spike with a BKB on Gyro, where they have the freedom because of the Brew Spirit Breaker combo. They could force fights no problem. And you can't reliably target Gyro.
There's a little gap in the webs here, so some of the spiders got caught. I think he was trying to sick them all on the Witch Doctor, but didn't happen. Yeah, the Gyrocopter BKB time is going to be pretty scary. It's cool to see. So when we saw Gyrocopter in Southeast Asia, it was only with Wisp, and the only build that anybody was going was Ags first. There was no Maelstrom first, no Yasha, no drums. It was always just the straight up Ags rush, and I was personally a little bit questioning it. Wait, Flyby, did he just cancel his TP? What just happened? All right. Well, he's stuck in these trees now, getting run down with no TP. They do end up losing Afu elsewhere on the map. Flyby just getting surrounded. Oh no, his TP's off cooldown. I guess he just didn't have one.
I mean, this is just—it's been a really strange game played from RNG thus far. A lot of their deaths are just straight up people getting picked off.
Yeah.
And
tied behind a bunch of recipes. Almost has his pipe.
part of the problem is that you're playing with a CK and a Brood that are effectively countered by the Brew ult, both of them, as their Phantasm and Spiders are immediately dispelled. They both have Midas, and they're really just both looking to farm at the moment. So RNG, I think, ideally, they've got to try and find a Rosh opportunity. There's a DD just outside of the pit, but with that BKB on Gyro, feels like EHOME are firmly in control of the 5-on-5, so not really much to do except continue to rice.
I just hope that those Midases keep on keeping on. 430 still struggling a little bit in the level department. He's only level 10. So it does need a little bit more catch up there, but they are going to have a pretty strong BKB timing like you were talking about. Radiance on the Brewmaster. What build does Brewmaster go late here? Is he going to keep going auras and play for the Primal Split health and the cooldown, or does he like get a blink and a BKB and a basher and just play for the attack speed and the Drunken Brawler crit chance? I personally love the like right-click build.
I think that's the play for sure. Because pandas are great, but at a certain point, you want to be able to fight without them because the Dispel's no longer your strongest tool. And I've seen some real big moves made with the 100 attack speed into crit at
You
level
can just like
25.
carry the game by yourself, right?
Yeah.
Get Abyssal Blade. Just go crazy.
Yeah, you got BKB on Setsu, by the way, so that makes Rosh a possibility. No one's checked the top rune. It is still a DD. And this is the dire disadvantage. If they time this where they make a move bottom with this smoke, as they find this DD on RNG and they just go into the pit here, it's awful timing for EHOME.
Yeah, they're just in totally the wrong place. All right, they do have a charge going.
Who took the DD? No one took the DD.
Oh, did it just despawn?
No.
Okay, they got a smoke.
All right.
Smoke
They're
on
gonna
smoke
find
action. All right, smoke breaks. They are going to find Innocence first. 2 seconds stun on him. I think they just leave the Witch Doctor for dead. Okay. Yeah, they do reveal the fact that they have a ward up on that high ground, but that's not too surprising. Charge towards mid, but immediately gets canceled by Jin-Q, and he's now trying to TP out. RNG just scattering all of EHOME to the wind, and they're just going to go back to farming for a second.
Nice TP for Jin-Q, though, because he does grab that bounty rune top. This is how you want to play the Spirit Breaker, ideally. Like, away from the action, always able to charge forwards if necessary.
RNG really willing to 5-man contest these bounties on the bottom side.
They've got Golem, they've got Tide Ravage, you know?
Yeah, and Pipe.
Yep. You don't really get much stronger. Mech finished as well on Delanum. You can see the timing that they're going for here. Monet with the Midas Armlet, so his Phantasm's quite strong, but you still got to worry about the Faith Beyond Brew, who's closing in on the Radiance.
Yeah.
I think they're going BKB as well on both Death Prophet and Spirit Breaker. And that's when the tide starts to turn, just a little, no pun intended.
Because of the Ravage?
Yeah, you can just straight up ignore Ravage and go for
Yeah.
the back line. Nothing AA Warlock can do with BKB heroes running at them.
So is it kind of like a one more item and Aegis timing for Setsu? Is that the plan? Like,
First step is getting that Aegis.
yeah.
And I like what they're doing, you know, sweep the map. They got the tier 1 bottom, that lane's pushing. If heroes show bottom, you could think about doing Rosh. You can see the Gyro.
Alright, Maelstrom back for the Ags. Nothing too shocking there. Death Prophet, finally level 12, 430. Still having a rough game, but he did get pushed out of his lane by the Broodmother. We said it during the draft that you've got that, like, kind of DK matchup factor, but there are those certain trump heroes where it's like, okay, I just can't play this lane at all. Get me out. So that's gonna slow down his whole game. But compared to the other, let's say the other position 3, the Tide Hunter, he's not too far behind. And RNG are just heading into the pit now, making relatively quick work of the Roshan with their. Wait, they got 2 medallions at the moment. So one of them will be a Solar Crest later on, but for now, it's a little bit strange.
You're going to have a BKB on the CK after this falls. And this is the Radiant Edge, right? This is why you've got, I think, 56, 57% win rate across international tournament matches throughout the season. Because when this mirror phase of the game starts, between 15 25 minutes, Dire's in Radiant jungle, and RNG and Radiant Wait.
Yeah.
Dire's in Radiant jungle. Radiant's in the pit.
Yeah, Dire jungle is where you want to be.
Correct.
And that's where the Radiant are playing. Because it's closer to Roshan.
Bang, bang.
All right. Well,
Funny how it shifted. You remember when the pit was in the bottom right side of the map, Dire had the edge.
Yeah. Yeah, this is supposed to be a slightly more neutral location, but...
And something, it's crazy that I actually agree with Nahaz on this, but it's a, or maybe it was Toby. It was somebody you wouldn't expect to have a good idea. Which is, the pit should be the low ground. It's a pit.
That was Toby's.
Roshan's in the pit.
That was Toby's idea, yeah.
Like, it removes this ability for teams to just sort of play the pit. Like, you shouldn't have an advantage in the Roche pit, right? And the way high grounds, low grounds work, you know, it would make a lot of sense. But anyway, we're going to have probably one of the fights for the game here because RNG are going to go for it.
Yeah, RNG are just going to go high ground.
They got Aegis, they got BKB.
TPs are all off cooldown for EHOME. They can come back to respawn, but they let them up onto the hill. Black Cannon cooling down in 1 second's time. Never end. Not going to pop it just yet. Probably wants it for the next wave. Mech is going to heal up the spiders. They do charge in. They're looking for Setsu. Pipe getting popped as well. They managed to drag back in the Brewmaster. Can they actually focus him down? The silence, but now the Chaotic Offering drop. They're laying their stuns nicely, and they lose the Brewmaster. He does have a buyback. Still needs to get that Primal split off, and now RNG just going to call the retreat. They pop 2 BKBs and both big ultis, but they do turn around and just take Jinkyu out. He wanted to catch something because of the Brewmaster buyback, but was not enough.
Yeah, this is the strength of the RNG line. When they have the BKBs, all of a sudden, you know how I was saying EHOME, they have the easier time like finding the fights because the Brute is the Spirit Breaker? Yeah. Mid-game, you can't just walk in any longer. And we just witnessed why. RNG, they have the damage now and the ability, because of the spell immunity, to kill the Faith Beyond Brew if he steps out of position. EHOME don't have any Blink Initiation. They don't have a spell like a Ravage that just guarantees the dominance of the area control for those critical 3 to 5 seconds. They also threaten structures, and they have the top 2 net worths with the Ags on the Brood along with the Aegis. You're feeling really good now as RNG, but with no ults, with no BKBs, EHOME, they're looking to pressure.
Yeah, they march it down. They give the tower license to the Brewmaster. He's going to need every little bit that he can get to get this BKB up. Charge is coming through onto Lanham. Are they actually going to commit for this? Setsu's also over here, but the rest of RNG not interested. They're just going to make their bid for those top 2 bounties, and looks like it will be a 2-2 split. Yeah, this is... They don't really have anybody else to go in, right, on EHOME. That's the problem. The Spirit Breaker can kind of head forward, but as we saw when he was trying to catch people trying to leave the base, he just gets mauled. Even with the buckler, like, he's got all the value survivability, but...
It's just that one team has like real stuns, the other team has complicated stuns, and it's always easier to play Dota when you can just throw your spells on a hero and he dies without acting.
Yeah. Where the only part of your net worth that matters is like how much raw HP and armor you have.
Yeah.
Just delete 12k worth of Brewmaster out of the game.
Yeah, especially I love the blink pickup on the CK. You don't really need to deal the tower damage, but if you can blink in, get a stun, follow up the AA ults, like I don't care if you have a BKB on the Death Prophet. If he catches a stun, there's no true counter initiation on EHOME.
Yeah, and RNG are already moving into position. Their ultis are not that far away. And they've only got the Aegis for another minute and 20 seconds or so.
Yeah, that's the right play. You've got Golem in 20, Ravage in 6.
Yeah.
Pipe onto the spiders.
Yeah, all right, they do jump in, get the grab onto Innocence. He will immediately pop the Ghost Scepter. So Monet resetting. They head forward, charging onto Setsu. If they've got this Aegis timed just right, maybe they can make some kind of a play, but got to imagine that RNG are also going to be backing out. They mostly just want this tier 3. Yep. Looks like they are going to be able to get it. More spam, more clear. Jinkyu, as he charges into the upheaval, they do get another stun onto the Witch Doctor, but once again, Innocence saved. They do have a Glimmer Cape keeping him alive. He's also got the Ghost. Rock getting dropped on top of Jinkyu. They're controlling the Pandas as well. What can Faith Beyond actually do as now all the BKBs come out. BKBs from EHOME. They're presenting a strong front, trying to push them outside of the base. Stun onto Setsu. Doesn't have the ultimate right now, trying to do some damage. Monet comes back in and Flyby with the 4-step forward. Catches the Ravage onto both heroes as their BKBs run out. Faith Beyond also pushed back. No more ulti for him. Innocence going to try and channel the Death Ward, but death for him as well, as now he gets caught by the Cold Feet. Faith Beyond chased underneath this tower, slowed down by the Diffusal, slowed down by everything else. Yeah, Setsu wants to lose this Aegis, come back with full HP.
He had 2 seconds to spare.
Oh, that was a close call. And now they turn back around. It looked like they might only get the tier 3, but great Ravage patience from Flyby. wins them the fight, and now they get the laning rank.
Yeah, so I was talking with Mineski, or well, Zach, the manager of it, and he was telling me, hang on, we still got fights.
They're trying to chase here. Kalden is going to connect onto everybody. Setsu losing some life, and unable to pop the BKB just yet, but just saving it for now. Insatiable Hunger is off cooldown. He's going to heal right back up. Shin-Q gone, and never end in a really kind of awkward situation. Setsu's still going to look for a little bit more, still hanging on to that BKB. Finally pops it now, looks towards Faith Beyond. Flyby catches the Anchor Smash onto both, and never end. Just completely caught out. They will end up losing one in the backlines. 430 able to chase down Afu. Now going to try and save his gyrocopter. Can't get him out. That Spiderling nuke is a little bit too much. 430 now also being chased. The Aghanim Scepter Broodmother is just all over it.
Chasing.
Yeah, 430 doesn't have the TP either. I think he TP'd on the Shrine to kill the AA. But BKB runaway still. Part 2 of that fight, as bad as Part 1 for EHOME, and RNG now insanely far ahead.
Oh, yeah. Thank God. My house is saved.
Were you
worried? I was a little worried.
The early game rotations for EHOME looked sick.
The problem is that you can't play. It's so hard to play better than the other team for this long.
I'm a little bit. The win. What is your win probability?
Well, it's
like?
because the win probability started at near not 100% for RNG, so the graph's just broken.
Well, it's been 100% dire the whole game.
No. It's meant radiant. They thought it was radiant.
It was supposed to know which side had the Broodmother. It saw the Broodmother pick and was like,
yeah,
it's over.
Yeah. So I was talking with Zach, and he was telling me
what
that
was he saying?
now that they've qualified, I can spill the beans. He was saying they scrimmed a lot of Chinese teams, like 6 of the 8 teams in the qualifier.
Okay.
And all the games are ending in like 20-25 minutes. So my preview for this qualifier is just similar games like this, where both sides try to hit this massive timing, and one team's just going to win that big fight, and that'll be it. And
interesting.
RNG, like the EHOME played better through the first 20 minutes, but RNG, they got Aegis, and they started knocking on the door. And you
Aegis,
can see
double BKB.
There's no damage. What was EHOME? They popped everything, but they can't actually deal damage to these heroes through BKB.
Yeah, their whole draft's just kind of, especially seeing 430 kind of sacked like this. I know it's what they had to do, and I think the Brewmaster was a really great response. They are looking for Flyby here. Primal Split getting popped, but CK just immediately going to pop the BKB. They do have the Ravage available. Flyby just trying to survive a little bit longer. The mech is going to help keep him alive. Broodmother coming in, but she's taking a little trip up in the air. They do get one more silence out. 430 still chasing, but they just can't seem to kill anybody. CK is managing to kite away, but Faith Beyond, his ulti's about to run out, and Setsu about to go to work as well. His BKB does wear down. Flyby can force staff back in. Setsu's the one being targeted. They do buyback on the AA, trying to save the Broodmother with the Ravage. It's not going to happen. Chaotic Offering also got dropped here, and RNG losing a fight right in the middle of the map. It is going to be some bounty runes picked up by Flyby, but EHOME also getting 2 on the other side.
Key was the initiation. They forced the Tide away from the fight, so by the time Flyby got the Ravage out, Brood was already without BKB and on the ropes, able to finish him off before the big stun comes out.
Yeah, and there was nothing to force anyone on EHOME to pop their BKBs early, right? So the Ravage was just never going to do anything.
Yeah, speaking of fast games, well, like Aster's already beaten Sirius in 27 minutes. Yep.
They had a Warlock, Shadow Shaman,
Slark, Kunkka. Yeah.
I wonder if that's partly part of where the Mineski Shadow Shaman came from.
Yeah.
Just scrimming against the
possible.
Chinese teams.
I will say, my picks, like you were talking about, like who's looking good. I figured this game would actually show us a lot. I think both sides definitely strong. RNG with a better draft, but EHOME definitely looks like a solid competitor. Aster, I think, is probably your dark horse, and then I think Newbie. I'm telling you, I got
Newbie's
faith
your
in
favorite
Newbie.
out of the open qualifiers.
Not favorite out of the open teams.
qualifiers. Yeah.
Them or IG, but I look towards Newbie. Okay. I always feel, and you could see this as well in the SEA qualifier too. Mineski just looked more put together. Like they had more composure. So I always favor squads that have those players that just don't choke. SCCC, when has this man ever choked? TI finals, he was playing near perfectly in every map, and
Oh.
his team loses. But you know,
EHOME with the big smoke wraparound. There's an arcane rune waiting in the river. Innocence, his smoke is going to break. Monet waiting up on the high ground. They get the charge over onto Afu, looking for him first. Can actually focus down this AA Ice Blast. Not really going to connect onto anything, but Neverend taking so much damage from the CK. Both BKBs getting popped. The Ravage still 30 seconds on cooldown. Good time for EHOME to fight. Monet turns around, dealing the damage to the Spirit Breaker, but he's getting chain stunned. The Radiance is ticking away at him, and once again, it's Broodmother up in the air. Can't actually commit to the fight to do any damage. And it will be RNG once again losing 3. Can they chase a little bit more? They've got the Yule Scepter up onto Flyby. Looking like he's also going to be brought down as they dive into the base. Setsu trying to do damage control, trying to cut these waves. But that is a 4-0 team fight in favor of EHOME. 430.
Setsu?
All right, Setsu's got him. Cinderbird not going to help.
The reason they're losing these fights is because the Brood isn't involved. That's 2 in a row where Brood's either targeted in that fight. He didn't get the BKB off, and a really well done lift up by Faith Beyond. That 6 seconds of Setsu flying means that they're going to be able to push forwards. And yep.
But the Roshan respawns, and RNG head straight in there with a couple of buybacks. EHOME are sizing it up. They seem to realize what's going on. They're coming in, Neverend, BKB just now coming back off cooldown. They do get the charge through into the pit. Setsu is going to just pop everything, munching onto Jin Q. They've also got the slowdown from the upheaval, but the Glimmer Cape is going to keep him alive a little bit longer, and Setsu can't decide what he wants to go for. Just has to retreat up onto the high ground. They've got their CK back up soon, but land him in the river. Can he actually get the Chaotic Offering off? He's got a lot of damage to contribute.
No buyback.
He's just brought down.
They're just sloppy. EHOME, even Iraq's down, even though they're outdrafted, like they're just playing better Dota. And every fight that they manage to grab initiation they're winning.
Back.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean the net worth and experience peaked. Execution in the fights just that little bit better. Do we have any big items coming up for EHOME out of all of this? So the Gyrocopter's picked up his Aghanim Scepter.
Huge damage spike.
Yeah, he's going for the Mjolnir next. Death Prophet's got level 18 now, so even without and the Solar Crest actually.
Yeah, Faith Beyond is about to hit level, or rather BKB.
Yeah.
He's got the gold in about 100. They're smoking forwards.
He's got the 100 attack speed.
Yep.
As well. He's actually going to do decent right-click damage in this fight.
If EHOME can buy another 10 minutes, like they will outscale
Yeah,
RNG.
the Broodmother's going to fall off. Once again, it's Afu. First one jump. They do pop the Primal Split, but they need to catch a little bit more. Setsu's waiting in the trees. Flyby, the next target, does have a Force Staff. 430 also chasing for him. And they've got the charge on Monet. They know what's going on. They try for the silence. They're not going to quite find it. He jumps into the backlines. He immediately focuses down one. That's the Witch Doctor dead. Jin Q pops the BKB, runs back, but they lose all the Phantasm illusions pretty much immediately. Setsu, even with the BKB, can't stand in the fight. The Insatiable Hunger duration is being wasted by the Cyclone, and Faith Beyond just chops him down. Dominating streak for him. Flyby forced to retreat. Force Staff into the base, but now he can't Force Staff forward for the Ravage. And they've already bought back on this Broodmother.
Yep.
Super high octane game. 430 locked onto. Exorcism about to run out. Maybe that heal can help him out a little bit. If he survives, the Ravage finally comes out. Catches onto the Brewmaster. Catches onto the Death Prophet, but they can't kill him. Landham's too deep in the backlines. He finally gets the Chaotic Offering out. Is this going to be the damage that they need? Ice Blast lands at a 430. Couple more auto attacks. Saves himself with the Yules. Neverend in the front lines. They want the Setsu kill, but the Insatiable Hunger is too much. He's healing up off of Jin Q. Monet looks like he might just be dead to the Maledict. He's trying to armlet toggle, but down he goes. Another buyback. God, what is happening in this fight? Neverend going to go for the TP out. But the Centaur!
No!
The Centaur stopped the neutrals getting involved. I think he might have got stunned by the CK anyway, but... Oh, man.
Yeah, you can see the EHOME fights they have to outplay in the fights. They need initiation on the backline, and the Brew Split has to start the fight. You can see Setsu, he can't commit. His BKB comes off, but he's just getting kited through it. Like he's not actually in the fight until post the buyback.
Our buyback status is looking pretty grim. Yeah, they both know that Roshan is the objective, right? Yeah. If EHOME secure this Rosh, that's going to buy them that extra 5 minutes that you were talking about. And RNG, they can't let them have it, but they have to go for the steal. Ice Blast coming in, scouting. Broodmother going for it. Dire gets the last hit, and they do get the Aegis over onto Faith Beyond. The cheese is on the ground. They're going to lose the Gyrocopter. That's a dieback for him. Monet getting chased away from the fight. They've got the Broodmother up in the air. Can they actually fight this one? It needs to be Faith Beyond doing the damage. Monet getting Force Staff away. The upheaval's doing work. Flyby with the Force Staff. Landham still no ulti, but he does have the mech. Setsu just retreats up onto the high ground. The cliffs, a nice place to play for this fight. Faith Beyond just going to try and retreat, keep the Aegis intact. Death Prophet did go back into the pit for the cheese, but 430 gets brought down.
Both heroes, no buyback. RNG will be aware. They just need to stop chasing kills and go straight for the base here. You can see Flyby already catching the mid-creep wave.
All right, so there's no glyph on the Dire for 25 seconds. Both of their big cores dead. Brewmaster, can he get an item?
Nope.
He's got a buyback, but
no split. This is at least one rack.
Is 3 Brewmaster lives enough to put any kind of dent in this RNG push?
I do not think so. They have Phantasm, and the problem, that was even without ults. They're going to be back up in a second.
Ravage in 8, Warlock ulti in 30. Tier 3 tower falling pretty quickly. Jinkyu just going to try and push them back. The Bulldoze helping to keep him alive. He baits some spells, but they found the jump over on Innocence, and the Ravage catches on everybody. They will get the first life over on Faith Beyond. He's got the BKB when he comes back up. Jinkyu, his BKB's keeping him alive a little bit longer. They're chasing him towards the fountain. Couldn't pop the cheese. He got hit by the Ice Blast. So now Faith Beyond versus the world, and can he actually do it? BKB finally wearing out. He's down, buys back, but RNG, they sense their opportunity. They go straight for the tier 4s.
They're just going for it.
And it looks like they will end up taking this game.
This really hurts a team in this is the is this a flashback to game 4 of the SEA final? Remember that? That was wild to watch. Going for throne when you just don't quite get there, losing the game because of it. I think this is for sure though.
Yeah, this looks pretty guaranteed.
Or
Rock dropped. Faith Beyond's in, goes for landing, but he gives him another chaotic offering. All right, yeah, this is done. Gyrocopter's trying.
House is saved.
Were you sweating for a second there, Colin?
Nah, that's fine.
No stress?
The CK...
the whole buyback sequence and everything, you saw the direction it was going?
Yeah, I think it just came down to does Lanham get spells off in the fight. The thing about this draft in this game is that if you look at it in a vacuum, you're like, all right, these 5 heroes versus these 5. Everybody gets their spells
Everybody
off. Who
presses
wins?
all their spells? Yeah.
RNG is going to win every time. But if one of their backline supports fed and Setsu's out of the fight, that's where EHOME can start to dominate because they're always going to find that +1 because of the charge, the speed of the gyro and the DP.
It looked scary when they went for the 3-man Roche to like force the buybacks, and then Lanham died in the river. Yeah. Was down for 80 seconds.
But you just don't have Roche potential on EHOME is the problem. You need to pop ults to be able to win these fights. You have a window where you're strong. And while RNG had the same, the issue is that with all spells down, Brood is still like mama. Like you can't really mess with him anymore. And it was just not really the greatest execution from RNG, but it's a 22-pick Brood.
Yeah. Do you think it's cool to show Brood in the very first game of the groups?
You're playing EHOME.
It might get banned, right? So.
Who cares? Put it in people's mind. At this point, you want to win TI, you should probably have, Meepo, Brood, Huskar in your repertoire.
Yep.
You showed off the Brood, but in a perfect Brood game against arguably the tournament favorites, then hell yeah.
Yep. All right. Well, there you go. It was a high-octane game. We're going to head to a break, guys. Congratulations to RNG, opening up the group nice and strong. I don't actually know what our next game is. Oh, we got
Look at the screen. Team Serenity versus Newbie
Serenity
will be our
versus
next
Newbie
match.
up next. All right, so we're going to head to a short break, guys. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you back here soon for some more Chinese Dota action.